Right. So just give me a sign and I will move the slides for you. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Can I go on?
No, ma.
Okay.
Before before uh before our presenter starts, I would like to briefly introduce her to us. Um, we have in our midst one of our senior advisors by the name Professor Tube Ademola Pupola. She agreed to facilitate this session, and we are so glad to have her. She's going to be speaking to us on technology and artificial intelligence in ophthalmic research. She has a very big CV, but I'll just say that she's a professor of ophthalmology, University of Ilorin, Nigeria. She's a consultant ophthalmologist, pediatric and strabismus and oncology services in the same university. She is a global advisor to the American Academy of Ophthalmology and also in the board of trustees of the American Academy as an international member. She's the zonal coordinator of Ophthalmological Society of Nigeria, OSN, and also she was the past faculty secretary, ophthalmology faculty secretary, National Postgraduate Medical College of Nigeria, Ejaniki, Lagos. And finally, she was a past chairman, Nigerian Pediatric Ophthalmology and Strabismus Society, NIPOS. So without wasting much time, I would like to introduce the speaker and the facilitator for this session, Professor Ube Ademola Pupola. Now you have the floor.
Thank you so much, Dr. Edoga. I want to appreciate NISA for the invitation to deliver this lecture this evening. Thank you for all that you're doing to move research forward in our country. Before I go on, please permit me to acknowledge the presence of the big wigs that I can see here. I must recognize them. I can see Professor Adedayo Adio, Professor Noche Okoye, my friend from Wills Eye Hospital in Philadelphia, from the Shields and Shields Oncology, Dr. Atta Sadmani, she has joined us. Dr. Bola Balogun, Bolanle Akinshola, and so many others. I can also see Professor Ayoniyi here, who is one of the chartered members of AI in the country. I recognize everyone here. Thank you very much for joining us. And so we go on. To take this topic, I knew, well, since I've been involved with NISA from early on, I knew the objective of NISA, but I would like to project that for all of us to see. And this presentation was built upon that objective that I know of NISA, which is basically to conduct qualitative ophthalmic research on various thematic areas at all levels, to provide eye-related data for practice and policy making, and to provide evidence-based platform to attract multiple research grants. With those at the back of my mind, I decided to look at the subject matter as one that is also going to accomplish the second part of the objective, which is training, since it's basically a research group. And so let's go on. We would want to remind ourselves that the topic is a technology and artificial intelligence in ophthalmology. So what is artificial intelligence? Artificial intelligence, as it is intelligence that is artificial. It's been around for over 50 years for us to know. It's not new, only that in the recent last 5 years, there was a major boom in the whole world when Chat GPT launched. but it's been around for a very long time, and we already have been using it in some of the technologies that have been available for us to us over the time. So typically, what is it in details? When a machine attempts to mimic human intelligence and behavior, we say it's exhibiting artificial intelligence. And for you to be able to get there, typically human being must have done something. They must have supplied it with some information in form of different types of data, which I will talk about, that whether supervised or unsupervised, that the machine learns from. It is expected that over time, without new data, it will be able, if you now give it a fresh data to access, the machine will use the knowledge from the data set that was already incorporated into it to be able to determine what is the best fit for the data that it's supposed to access, having gone through the training data set. And within artificial intelligence are several subsets, but the two big ones will be machine learning and deep learning. Machine learning is really the one that I have described quite a lot, you know. But when it now uses algorithm that is inspired by neural network that appears like the human brain, that uses different levels to be able to accomplish its purpose, we say that deep learning is what is used there. So artificial intelligence as its web performs complex and advanced functions just like human, using good quality data provided to it, which could come in different formats like languages, images, videos, or numbers. We will go on. As ophthalmologists, we may choose to step in different ways. Maybe as developers, people who develop the algorithm that is used to be able to train the data to be able to accomplish a particular purpose. Or we want to be a people who, okay, some people develop, then we then provide the service, but most of us will be people who just adopt this that has been provided. And since we're talking about research today, that's where most of the research work that most of us will do, we actually fall into. Artificial intelligence generally helps us to automate our processes and to help avoid repetitive tasks that accompanies what we do most time, and then leads to tiredness, loss of data quality, because the machine is in use and it doesn't get tired. So human error will be reduced, and it is fast and accurate, and it can be there all the time. It can go a long stretch, not tired, because it's always available. With respect to research, when we apply artificial intelligence, what does it do for us? It allows our research to be accelerated, and that can indirectly lead to a lot of rapid development in what we do. Specific technology exists already in ophthalmology, and several of these already have artificial intelligence being incorporated in some measure, like our whole city, our fundus camera, our digital devices, pachymeter, tonometers, that some of the tonometers, some of the blood pressure machine, you use them on patients and it gives you a color to say that there's problem here because the value doesn't fit. The algorithm inside of it senses that this thing is somewhere out of the normal range. So we already have a lot of technology ready to take on artificial intelligence. And ophthalmology, by the way, has always led the way in several soft and hard technological developments and advances. For example, in the retinoblastoma world, we know that the RB gene is the first tumor suppressor gene that was discovered. Retinoblastoma a lot to the world about how to take care of CNS tumor, which behaves similar to it. So we are really rightly placed to lead the world and to participate actively. And it only will just take us being conscious of this. Why is this so? It is so because the eye is readily accessible. In fact, we say the eye is the extension of the brain. Though the brain is hidden, the eye is accessible for us to be able to see a lot of things happening, not just only in the brain, but in other parts of the body with a lot of ease. Not so invasive, data in large volume will be readily digitally accessible that can be fed into this machine for them to learn from and be able to help us in our subsequent testing when we put new data. We use microscopes. We use all manners of things that is not so common in other places without it being invasive. And so it allows teleophthalmology to also be possible because we have been able to do a lot in this regard. Why am I emphasizing this? We all practice in different clients with different resources. We owe ourselves a duty to ensure that our services are powered with these devices so that we'll be able to participate actively and strongly in the world of artificial intelligence and not just sit back. For example, my OCT, Spectralis, we were looking at it the other day, and the algorithm was based on about 278 data from Europeans. I'm using on Africans. How is that going to be generalizable? But I have the privilege and honor to be able to be here. If I have the Spectralis, to be able to contribute in the reviews or in new machines. This is the data from Africa, and that can be used to determine is it right, is it normal for my own patient set over time. So we have a lot that is massively available to us. And it's not only just these resources, also collaboration. We are very fortunate about this. What is the algorithm that I've talked about? It simply put is just a set of rules or commands that you give to that machine or steps or procedures that allows it to be able to say that, okay, if it fits this, it is normal. If it doesn't, it is abnormal. It's a highly mathematical and computer science-based programming. And this has been put together under different names. They are housed in several libraries, expressed in different languages such as R or Python. So if you want to be one of those developers at a higher level, not just someone who is going to just use the resources, we need to learn the languages, the R or the Python. How generalizable? Well, people who put their data there, whatever comes out of it will be generalizable to them, but not necessarily to another population. AI in ophthalmic research is the next thing I will talk about. AI helps us to improve the outcome and efficiency of our research if used responsibly. AI, for instance, can help us speed up research by helping us to generate prompts. You know, sometimes you want to research on something and you are wondering, what will I write about? Where will I start from? What will be my subject? What will be the next subtitle? AI can help us in this. In literature review is very useful. In hypothesis generation, data analysis, and coming to a conclusion, even in writing. But let us remember that we want our work to be original. We do not want to plagiarize whichever way. And I would remind us of that as we go on in this topic. So I want us to look at, why do we do research? NICER wants to do research, wants to make data available to the whole world from Africa, wants to be a player. Why do you want to do a research? We do research because we want to make available to the world reproducible, evidence-based data, conclusions to improve the quality of life of humanity. Every research should ultimately go in that direction, should ultimately achieve improving the quality of life of humanity. We must remember that that's why we do our research, and that's why it's a serious subject. It's a serious matter. If we're not going to achieve that, we don't need to go through it. What are the practical steps that will help us to be able to achieve this? We will come to example, but I just want to give us an overview. We will need to generate quality data, and this data may be useful. For example, in precision diagnosis, if we do it correctly, AI will be able to use the data we generate to say that, oh, I have seen so many normal. This looks abnormal. You called it the last time diabetic retinopathy. So this next one is not normal. It is retinopathy or or diabetic retinopathy. This one is glaucoma. This one is age-related macular degeneration. We have to be serious about the way we generate the data, and it must be good quality. AI can help us to enhance treatments, providing personalized medicine. For example, if we have longitudinal data, you know, about a patient, which you know that some of our visual feed already provides, or even the fundus camera, it will say to you that this patient was this the last time, is now this, it's time to step in, it's time to change treatment, it's time to look at it again. It can help us in clinical trials, in our research, as we feed it what we need for our recruitment. Feed in data, new data, this patient fits this gap. Readily say that, no, this one goes, this one does not go. It can help us with integration of data from different devices that we use. And then for one patient, bringing, for example, the glaucoma patient, OCT result, visual field result, pachymeter, tonometry, and we'll be able to put them together and say, this patient is one, you can watch. This one, no, you need to treat. AI is capable of doing that if well used. And on the long run, it will be cost saving. It will reduce medical error and thereby optimizing resource allocation. How do we responsibly use this technology? I would like to first remind us that as lovely as it is, there are challenges with the use of AI, even as I speak today. And I will use definite examples to show us as we go on. The challenge of quality data. AI feeds on a data and learns by that. If the data is poor quality, it's likely to give us poor quality outcome anyway. AI sometimes can give you error. Recently, I see that some of them say that AI do make mistake when you use those platform. They write it on that. I can make mistake. Make sure you check it out. You know, so we cannot say that once we have used AI, we are good to go. No, we have to check it out. I will show a few examples. Privacy is a matter of concern with AI use, but with respect to plagiarism, a lot in terms of plagiarism, because it's so easy. You can just copy and paste, and you think you have a whole paper ready. Different types of plagiarism you will see as I go on. To be able to mitigate this, I have outlined these few things that I will discuss as we go on. We need to be questioning of what AI generates for us. We need to plan to verify. We need to validate. We need to self-audit our work ourselves, be steadfast and be patient. Next slide for me. I want to show us how to responsibly use AI. Using a few examples. More recently, I had a number of research work around retinoblastoma. We were writing a few publications. One of it was twin pregnancy as it relates to retinoblastoma. Does it increase the risk? Do twins have more? Because we noticed that we had a number of twins and we wanted to see what AI has got to do. So I decided to send a few questions on one of the AI platform. This is the fonts here, they are small because I just copied directly as it gave me. My first question, we want to use AI for research. You know, you may start with your own idea or you don't have idea at all. In this instance, I had the idea of what I wanted to work on. And so I posed a general question for a start. And that question was, does twin pregnancy increase the risk of retinoblastoma developing in children? That was the question I asked AI. And it first of all gave me all these general things. It told me about the genetic factor, the twins and retinoblastoma, that if because of their shared genetics, they're likely to have it. But you and I know that if I am writing, I cannot just write like this. I need references. I need details. I need evidence. So I was not satisfied with this. What did I do? I asked my next question, which is on my next slide, from AI. And my next question was, can you give me more details with references? Still general. That was, no, the previous slide. I wanted it to give me references for the previous statement it sent to me. And AI gave me these references and gave me some brief about them. This article provides a comprehensive overview of genetic basis of retinoblastoma, blah, 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 and did that. I said, okay, let's go deeper. I need more references. Next slide. I said, but I need more references and the link on twin and retinoblastoma. This time around, it gave me not only the references, it gave me the link to the articles. Again, I needed some depth. I asked the next question, which was, thank you. I need more. Can you give me more references, not older than the last 10 years on my subjects? And it went on to give me the references with link. Oh, and all these things are usually generated in less than 30 seconds, maximum 1 minute. If I was writing a paper, will you not be congratulating me already? Isn't it? All right, let's go on. I asked one more question. I said, please regenerate. Give me the findings in each of the references. I mean, when we're writing, what more do you want? When you read a reference, you want to know what it says, is it not? All right. Then he went ahead to give me, for each of those references, the findings, the link to those articles. I said, okay, I'm assuming that I'm already writing the discussion, because somewhere in the discussion, I would want to write about how to prevent, how to reduce the risk of retinoblastoma. You know, assuming those twins came from IVF. You can see that I'm becoming more and more and more specific in my question to AI, you know. So I asked all of these questions and it gave me. Now, I've talked to you about me having my own thoughts about the subject matter and went from general into the details. That is the way to use the AI, but it is not over. In case you do not have any idea, you just thought about a weird topic, you can also say, AI, please give me prompts, ideas about this subject matter, like I did for by asking AI to give me some prompts on the research on how to mitigate the challenges of accuracy with AI. And you can see what it told me, but we didn't get here just for nothing. So all those previous references with the summaries I got, you know, if you don't want to be original, you may just be copying and be putting and not even bother doing much. So because I was trying to train my group, some resident doctors working with me. So I did all the searches, you know, all the questions from ChatGPT, Copilot, all the ones that I use, I posted to them by email to my resident doctor. I said, well, different ones were working on 4 different things around retinoblastoma, and I did for all of them. I said, but for you guys working on twin, this is what I got from AI. What will you do with it? Because I want to see your literature written from these prompts that we have. I will show you what it says. But suffice to tell you that you can start with no ideas at all, which is what I just demonstrated with the previous slide and this current slide. I said, please give me prompts. He gave me prompts. By now having a prompt, I now went on just like I did for the retinoblastoma study, give me references, give me findings, and then give me the link to this. Let's go on. Is this enough? No. This will earn me maybe 10 over 100, all that I have done so far. And ordinarily, you will expect that just by doing all of that, I have done a lot of work and ready to write, ready to publish. So I gave this additional instruction to my residents. I said, use this below, those things that I posted to them that I have just shown you on the slide to improve your work, because they had done something before, by the way. They didn't start with that. I said, you need to search for the references one by one, provide in your own words concise sentences of their findings under each. Even though you remember that AI did that for me, but I wanted them to be original. I said you must look for each of the references. You should also find cross references from each of them and use them to make these references up to 30. Additionally, you must make a table of the references according to the sub-theme related to your study. Mention, I usually ask them to do tables. Residents that I supervise, they know that. And all these are to build originality, prevent plagiarism, and make them master of the art. I said, so you mentioned the type of study that reference referred to, where it was done, race, how many patients, what did they examine? In other words, what were the outcome measured? What did they find? What lessons came out of it? How can this be related to your study? I said, after writing, you could also, and if you have a complex paragraph, you can ask AI to help you rephrase. Let's meet next week. So we met next week. What happened? Next slide. Next slide. And so my residents were not happy when they came to meet me. Not this slide. Let's go on to the next one. They were not happy. I said, why? I was happy. They were not happy. I said, why? They said, ma, I can confabulate. I said, why? They said, those ones that gave us like 18 references. When we went to do what you asked us to do, checking one by one, doing the table, trying to find what the study said, we didn't find more than like 6 that were genuine. Some of them went to all manners of advertising things. They were not even publication. I was very excited to hear that from them. I knew that they had learned a lesson for life. That's what originality meant. Ordinarily, they would have thought that it was just a walkover, and that is what we think AI has come to do for us. As we want to do research in NISA, we know you will use AI, whether we like it or not. Just like the way we now, before AI, all of us use browsers, databases. Back in those days, when we were about writing our dissertation, we would travel to another town. We had to go to Ibadan at the time. We will register at the library because at that time there was no GSM. We will register at the library, give them our title. We will be given 1 or 2 weeks appointment to return to give us summary of all manners of abstract from all manners of publication. You will see there and write and write and write. You know that one is story. Now you sit in your house, you get everything, you are able to work, you go from PubMed to Medline search and all manners of things. So we know you are going to use AI. As you go ahead to contribute to the world also knows you're going to use AI. And that's the reason the same developers have developed AI detectors. They will search for originality. I've just gone through what have I just done in my last maybe 10 slides is to show us how to reasonably use this tool that is available to us while you are conscious of the need to remain original and be saved from the pain and ache of plagiarism. How can this come about? We can copy and paste fully. Like my residents, if they were not dutiful, they probably would have done that, you know. But anyway, they knew we will find out. We could do and not reference them. I sent to them, I said, these were all from Chat GPT and this and this and this. Go and do and do and do this on it. And then let's meet to have a discussion. Some people don't even have things coming from anywhere. They call invalid source plagiarism. They could make up references and citation, or repeating some research, changing things, the one we call self-plagiarism, you know, or change the data, change the table, or pick some other person's full research, change the data, and then publish all those the world has reported. There could be people just paraphrase and they do not cite. They just speak almost 100% of the same way those things are worded in the publication, and so on and so forth in terms of plagiarism. Let's go on. So this is the Hydra head with the use of AI in our days. So having said this to you, shall I recommend AI to NISA and to other trainings in ophthalmologists? Most of you who are in NISA, I know you have senior registrar, but most of you are already, you've passed that stage. Yes, I will recommend to you, but I want to say to you, because we want to advance rapidly, because we know the positive things that can come out of it, like stated in this slide, it is supplementary tool. It cannot replace our originality because there are significant regulatory and ethical considerations that we must carry along. There are issues around data quality. If we want to contribute meaningfully to the world, we must generate meaningful data that people will be able to reproduce and verify if they want to check it out. We also know that AI can help improve our understanding and interpretation of our data. So we know that possibility exists. That if you post your table and you can say, can you interpret? Do you remember that SPSS has been doing that for years? You right click on SPSS, it will interpret a table for you. So we are aware that all these tools are there. The world knows that they are there. So we will not say it should not be used. Next slide. We want them to be used, but used responsibly. I decided to also let us know that it's not just all about ChatGPT, and I know several of us know that there are several AI tools that we can use for ophthalmic researches as provided by co-pilots, very generous of co-pilots, to have allowed us insight into what the others can do for us, as you see there. Eliphaz, ChatGPT, typeset.in, you know, and a host of others that are available for us to use. And if you use several, they probably give us more insight, less errors, and our research work will be strengthened while we remain original. Next slide. So I decided to talk to ChatGPT, one of the ones that I use. I said, why do you confabulate? Why do you bring to us things that don't exist as though they exist? Let's see what it has got to say to us. It says that that it was designed to recognize and generate pattern based on the data that it's given. That's why it will generate based on what it has been used to train. So NISA wants to provide data over time that some AI algorithm will be able to use. So it said that if the data is incomplete or ambiguous, it may be producing an answer that sounds plausible, but isn't entirely accurate. Did you notice that he's not accepting his responsibility for producing it? He says it is what he was fed with. It's a lack of knowledge. That if I don't have specific information about a topic, I might generate a response based on related information, confabulation. It will make it up. That is it, as simple as that. That this can sometimes lead to incorrect or misleading answer. AI never really say that it doesn't know. It will find a way to say something to you. It said sometimes the training data are limited, that there is also probability and guessing, that my responses are generated based on probabilities. When there's uncertainty, I may provide a best guess, which can sometimes be wrong. Then he talked about the type of prompt we give. I just went through from generalized to specific prompt that we can give to an AI chat box to be able to give us what we want. And if you open chatbot 4.0, under it, when you ask your question, it gives you this information. It started giving me, ChatGPT can make mistake, check important information. So there's a disclaimer there from the AI platforms. So that means that AI is not prepared to take responsibility for the errors. It behoves on us, the researchers, to, as we use AI in our research, if at that end, we should ensure that we check it out, like we used to check it out in the past. Next slide for me. Remember that the content creators also created detectors, and I've listed them for you there as I asked you to list for me. So that means as we are at different levels, if our trainees submit something to us, and many of these are also open access, you can check them, or some will pay a little to be able to access them, apart from what we already knew before, like the Turnitin platform. We should endeavor to check out contents that are submitted onto us to pass on to the next level. The truth is, if we're familiar with using AI the same way I have taken us step by step, you would be able to, even it reads well. I know there are several platforms that look more and more human-like, especially those ones that we pay for. But you will still know, you know your residents, you know yourself. When somebody starts to speak in a way that is not the usual, write in a way that you know this person doesn't write like this, you need to ask questions and use a detector to find out the quantity, the amount of AI verbatim that is in that particular publication. In fact, the world will continue to look at this, and we cannot run away from it. We cannot say that they don't say they will not know. They are old, they will not know. They know, and they will continue to check. And I'm going to again repeat what I put at some point: responsible use of technology and AI. From technology, it's put correct data. We often don't put complete data. For example, a patient has had a camera. They ask for the gender. Somebody does not fit it in if it is not compulsory. The age you approximate, sometimes it doesn't, the patient doesn't, you know, some of our patients, you don't know their ages. The person looks like a 70-year-old and he says, I am 50. And we just think and just go on so that I can move on. No, we are responsible for making that technology work for us by ensuring that the data we put into it is useful. That is going to help us at the end of the day to improve the quality of life of people whose that data will someday be used to generate an algorithm that will help to reduce our work through automation, through AI incorporation into that system. Then we should be prepared as part of the technology to contribute large data by ensuring that we collaborate with one another. You have 10, I have 15. By the time we have it, we have 25. But neither of us can have 25 if we don't collaborate. We should be prepared to mitigate through questioning. This thing doesn't make sense. How my resident will know when we had this discussion. I'll say, but even what you went to write, it doesn't make sense to us now. It doesn't look like it makes sense. Let's go and check again. This conclusion doesn't make sense. You know, we should verify, we should validate. Go to the source. Don't just use a paraphrase somewhere. Look for that. Just many things are now more accessible than they used to be through our various institutions. Then we should self-audit. When we are putting, ask yourself, what you have put down, does it make sense? What I have written now, can I pass myself? You know, what people use to assess us are in the public domain. If you put it there, does this say, will I pass myself? Will I publish myself? The doctors know I say that a lot. I said, this thing I wrote, I'm not at the level at which I can publish myself. So why send it to someone who is expected to be more critical than you are? We should ensure that we are ethical and that we are responsible in our conduct of our research from data generation to our conclusion. Because now many journals will ask you, is the data for this article you're submitting to us available? This manuscript, you have to make a statement about the availability of the data, that if they ask for it, you have seen several big journals retracting articles because some people made up some things. And then it came out in the open. You can imagine how embarrassing it would be when they ask us and we don't know. Data protection. In other words, data is life. Data is the life of the people whose data we have. If we protect the data from abuse, from misuse, the data will serve us to improve the quality of our life. Because some people want to make money out of our data. So we have to ensure that at least we are putting our data where we want it to be. We should contribute to large data bank. American Academy of Ophthalmology has what is called an iris registry, where massive data are collected from, you do surgery, you enter, and research, a lot has come out of that to know that, oh, okay, when we use this blade, when we use this drug, the outcome for cataract surgery, the outcome for diabetic retinopathy is better than in this one. And that is because everybody has agreed in that setting to contribute as much as possible to that data and with accuracy. I know the temptation is always there to doctor data, especially when it doesn't fit our narrative. Or sometimes we have published before, we have said something, our data is now speaking differently. We are afraid to say something different from our data. That is not being responsible enough. We need to be steadfast and be patient. It takes time to acquire data. We need to be patient. Sometimes it takes a lot of time. Some meaningful data will not come out in 3 years. Some you need to wait 3, 5 years for the data to come. Be plagiarism conscious. Use anti-plagiarism tools even for the work that you are writing. And I want to say that in conclusion, there's a paradigm shift before us. The world already knows it. It's rapidly advancing. We are going from artificial intelligence technology to artificial general intelligence that will think, that will feel, that will see, and to the one that is super artificial intelligence that will even be better than human being. So we need to use it, but ensure that we verify and that we cautiously deploy it while we ensure that our originality is not lost in the process. Thank you very much for having me. My references are there. I I I consulted quite a number of those sources for this talk. Thank you. I can take some questions.
Thank you very much, for your wonderful presentation. Please, can we give Professor Paula virtual hand claps, please? She
I'm
did a
seeing the virtual
wonderful
hands on.
presentation, and it's
Thank you.
please
So
let's
I would
give
like to
virtual.
take some questions.
All right,
Yes,
so
let's have questions
yes,
if
yes.
the
So
director
we have
allows
like
it.
30 minutes. Yes, we have like 30 minutes for questions, and hopefully we are going to touch all the areas. We already have a
Yeah.
queue. HP user, we don't know your name, so please, if you can rename yourself. Dr. Modupe Adebayo, she's the coordinator of the Southwest uh, group for the NISA network. So please, you have 1 minute to ask your question. You can unmute yourself. Dr. Modube, please, you can unmute yourself. Okay. While we wait for Modube, I would like to invite Dr. Abayomi Jaye. He is the special advisor to the governor of Enugu State on health. So please, I
Oh,
would like to
nice.
give special honor to him. You have the floor, sir.
Um, so, Prof, thank you so much, Dr. Edioga, for giving me the audience. And I want to greet everyone on this platform and the professor that has given us. I was so happy to hear that doctors and consultants are looking into how technology can improve healthcare system in Africa. I like the way you were mentioning African data, and I was so excited. I really want to appreciate you for this. My background and my interest is in how we can use technology to improve the quality care in Africa and extend it beyond even where we are. And listening to you, you delved into it, and you also the fact that you're also improving the young people, young residents, among others. You are teaching them. That excites me a lot, and we would like to work with you in any way. I must say that this idea of research and this network coming together, making this happen, is something great for Africa. It's something great for Nigeria, and I want to challenge every one of us and our senior lecturers here, our tutors, among others in this team. Please do not give up on this. Technology is not here to take our job. Technology is actually to enhance our job and to increase how we can be more precise in the care we're going to be providing. Later in the year, I will be privileged to be speaking on something like this at somewhere in Silicon Valley in a conference. So when this came up, I'm so excited, and I'm thinking of what I'm going to think with Dr. Edioga on how we can come together and make this happen. Enugu State is where the governor has given a lot of room to technology. And if you come around, you will see that we talk about technology. Recently, we just moved to e-governance, whereby all our proposals, all the letters, everything that is going to be paperless. So technology will help us, and we must leverage on it. Prof, I want to say thank you for doing this, and I'll be excited to also join in further in subsequent meetings. And I would like to connect with you. We have a lot of things to do together. Professor Popwala, I would connect you through Dr. Edioga. Thank you, and
All right, sir. Thank you.
I want to appreciate you. God bless.
So I guess I can take a few questions before responding.
Yes, ma, you can. Yes, ma. Thank you
Okay.
so much, Dr. Jaye. Dr. Bolanle Akinsola, please, you have the floor. You have 1 minute. Dr. Bolanle Akinsola.
Hello, this is Professor Akinshola. Can you hear me now?
Sorry, ma.
This
to
our
unmute.
Sorry, ma.
Yes.
my own trainer. Good evening, ma.
God bless you, Professor Kukola.
Yes,
well done.
Yes.
And
yes,
I've thoroughly enjoyed myself. And we had a conference last week where we also discussed about artificial intelligence. And the point there is that AI is not here to take over our job, so we should not actually be disturbed or be anxious, but it's to improve our job and also to give us a very, what I can call, comprehensive output and to improve our work. So I just want to chip in that and say that we're a work in progress. We continue to do what we can. And also, as you have said, we should be original, even as we work with AI and technology.
Thank you, ma.
Thank you very much. And well done. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Prof. Thank you for your comments. We really, really appreciate it. Dr. Tongreang, your hands were up. Did you have a question? Dr. Ben Ame.
No, thank you very much, Prof, for the lucid presentation. Thank you.
All right.
Okay, we seem to be having
How many
more
of us on this platform have not? How many of us on this platform have not used AI? Me, I have question. I've not used AI. There's one hand there. Oh, Geflo from Liberia. Wow. Wow. Auntie Bola. Dr. Balogun. Okay. Yeah. So I'm getting several hands. Wow. Oh, my God. So it looks like we should thank NISA for organizing this. That was why I wanted to be practical. Maybe I should, okay. Let me allow if there are more questions, because that my question is making my mind to think. I hope I didn't speak above your heads. Okay. Is there anything you would want me to repeat? Because I'm surprised we have so many people who really have not directly used any AI platform.
Please, mine is a question.
Yes, ma. Okay, ma.
I raised my hand to ask a question. I've used AI and I've enjoyed it very well. I'm glad that we are beginning to accept AI, because I remember there was a circular that says residents should not use it for their dissertation, and that such dissertations will be thrown out. So I'm glad we are now beginning to lean towards it. But then I also know that they say if you use AI to write a paper, you should be honest enough to own up. I want you to elaborate on that, please.
All right, ma'am.
Thank you.
I'm writing that down as one of my questions. Paper reference.
Okay, ma'am. So let's take one or two more questions.
Okay.
You have a question? Okay. While we're asking questions, Professor Abdul joined us. Professor Abdul, you are welcome, sir. Dr. Joseph gave floor from Liberia. Do you have a question? You have the floor.
All right, thank you, sir. Good evening, Prof.
Hello, good evening.
Yeah, good evening, ma'am. Somebody talk about AI not taking our job, and according to the presentation, you said AI is going to be effective, super sensitive. I don't know whether that was for you. I can't read it, and it will even be more intelligent than human beings. And maybe it will try to employ AI in our places of work, and that becomes more intelligent than human beings. Maybe what 10 persons could do in a daytime, maybe AI will be able to do in maybe 12 hours time. And with that, we may not be reducing the number of maybe manpower that we will have in a particular setting. Thank you, ma'am.
All right. Okay.
Okay, Ma, you can answer the two questions. Maybe we can have more afterwards.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes. I want to say thank you for bringing Dr. Abayomi Jaye here. And I'm very excited to know that he's working in Enugu State. That is very lovely for our country. Thank you so much. I want to plead with Dr. Abayomi that one of the things he will do as special advisor for our people for healthcare is to ensure that all the hospitals in Enugu State are technology driven, top notch. You know, you shouldn't go there and then there is something that is not digitized from fundus camera. It should be in the hospital, OCT. Because if we're talking technology and we don't have those things, we will be deceiving ourselves. You cannot be using direct ophthalmoscope to look at somebody's eye like this, and you want to feed that to a machine. Please, thank you so much for joining us. That would be my, and I also would love to work with you because I love improvement all around me.
Thank you, ma. Let me just. I'm sorry. It is what you just said. Dr. Edioga can testify to it. That is the first thing we did in Enugu State when we got into government.
Okay,
And
we are clapping for you. We will see you in September when we come for
we will be
conference
glad
in.
to host you. Yes, we will be glad to host you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Now, I'm not speaking here for the college, by the way, Dr. Balogun. I know that people tend to believe that when I speak, I'm speaking for some group. But I know that for sure, it's not that the college is not aware that residents are using AI or that they will use AI. The college does not want AI to replace originality, just like we didn't want it before. You know, before AI even came on board, we were doing plagiarism check in the colleges. When they send somebody's proposal, they send it with the percentage similarity. And if it's at a certain level, it is rejected outrightly. So that is actually what the college is saying. The college knows that, like it or not, I mean, nobody's going to say that you shouldn't get ideas that will improve your writing. But to now be copying like what I demonstrated, AI says there are these references, it says this, and you copy verbatim or you copy without checking, and it comes to a lie. You know, one lie is enough to finish 99 truths. That's the way it goes, you know, ma. At the exam, when somebody discovered that you just randomly look at about somebody has 70 references, you pick 10 and you go and check, and it's taking you to an advertising company, it's taking you to a food processor, it's taking you to whatever. That whole work is condemned. So that is why the college is saying, don't send AI. I have residents, I'm supervising that. I say, the AI I'm reading in this work is too plenty. Oh, it cannot be acceptable because I know this is not even Nigerian English self. You know, so that is what the college is saying. And even though I'm not holding brief, but I know that for sure that is the situation. We don't want anybody to go and copy and paste AI. You should be, or just use it like you use to do other databases that we did in the past to help make your work easy. AI, as for AI being more intelligent, even the artificial generalized AI is not yet here. But I tell you, one of the things I know about human is anything we can dream about, we can achieve it. I know we are going to go get there before we get to the super level. Now, what does this do for us? It actually tells us to start thinking, because as one job is closing, another one is opening. Let me remind us that in the days of our fathers, maybe grandfathers, people use camel a lot for transportation. Is that not so? I remember when we were going to buy our first car, somebody told us, don't buy front axle. I mean, is it front wheel? What do they call it? Front wheel. Make sure it's back axle you buy. And another person said to me that no way, he is going to where the world is developing to. He's going to buy front wheel because that will be the car of the future. Today, who is talking about Bakazuka? In other words, if AI comes to that level, there are new jobs coming up. For example, there are prompt engineers, people who will feed data, people who will produce quality data, people who will assess this data. In our own hospital, for example, we no longer go and do ROP screening at the NICU because we have a camera put there. The NICU staff, the doctors, the nurses, they do the screening. And then they share the image and we say, oh, this one is problematic. This one is not problematic. That has reduced my job. It has allowed me to be able to face other things that I'm still looking for how to shed even, you know? So AI is not necessarily going to make us redundant, but it's going to challenge us in another direction. And that was why I had that slide on the categories of players. There are people who would develop, there are people who would be writing the program, who would develop the algorithm, who will manage the library. There are people who will just be supplying data, and there are people who are waiting for them to finish and they pay for it. They only want to use it at the end of the day. Everyone is important in the chain. That's why, as even though we are doctors, we should find something in ICT, you know, that we can improve on to up our games. That's what I would want to suggest to us in this respect, so that we can benefit very well from both sides. We are feed people, we are also computer people to a very reasonable extent. Well, so that when you can negotiate properly and not be lost when they're talking about some of these things, you know. If you pick some computer, and some of them, they are not so expensive to pick up the skill in data analytics, for example, data science, machine learning. Let's pick up something, learn, and be able to contribute meaningfully. I think those were the questions that I had so far. Dr. Edoga,
Okay,
over to you. Yeah.
Yes, thank you so much, ma. Dr. Jai, do you want to say something? You have the floor.
I just want to say that, madam, you are awesome, and you are a gift to this nation. I pray that God will help us to improve the quality care in Africa as a whole. God bless you, and thank you, everybody. And I can't remember your tutor, Professor Ma. You're also our
My
teacher.
Professor Akinshola.
Professor Akintola Ma, I want to recognize you and thank you for making now time to come to this. I'm helping to do Dr. Edioga's job now. I want to thank everybody for attending this event. And I also want to challenge us that the next one, let's invite someone to invite someone. Let's come together and let's make this network strong, and let's improve research system in across the nation and in healthcare, and how we can leverage technology to improve quality healthcare. God bless.
Thank you,
Thank
Dr.
you,
Jai.
sir.
You are doing a very good
Thank you
job.
so much.
Keep it up. You're doing well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I just wanted to share a little experience that I had with AI. I noticed that WhatsApp has AI that is called Meta AI. So I wanted to do some statistical analysis. So like what's the meaning of kappa? What is Bland-Altman plot? How do you do receiver operator characteristics? So I just typed it in the AI, and surprisingly, the AI started giving me formulas, giving me references on how some of those calculations can actually be done. And then when I said, okay, AI, how can I do it on SPSS? It now listed step by step on how I can actually use SPSS to calculate those things. So AI is in our phones, is in WhatsApp, so it's very, very close to us. And for now, it is free, being offered by the owners of Facebook. Then I think some cyber sites has an AI platform where you can upload retinal pictures and it will automatically evaluate it. So if you are doing maybe studies that are related to retina, glaucoma, you could actually do interpretation by humans and then get an AI system to do interpretation, and you compare the two of them, and then, but we need to generate data as Nigerians that AI can actually work with, because a lot of the data sets that AI uses to make interpretations are from Caucasians and Asians. So we need to have our own data. And for you to have data, like Professor Pukwala has said, you need to have those equipment that can generate those data. The fundus camera of high quality. So when you are buying those machines, you should actually buy the ones that are high quality, that will be relevant going forward in the AI world. So I would like to also especially appreciate the presence of Professor Ushola, the secretary of OSN, and also a senior advisor to the network. Ma, do you have anything to say, ma? Please. Yeah.
Please, before Professor Lawoye, maybe we're running. I just want to challenge us again. I think Professor Ayoni, you should also speak. He just went through a training. I want to challenge us, young or old. Let's learn something, maybe Python or R. Let's just even up our game small like this. We should also form a cluster of people that people would be talking to when they're asking. Don't just let me not say what I was about to say. That our own data will be important, that you will negotiate on your data. I don't know if you understand me. That you yourself, you can manage it, you can do something, you can write a small code, small programming. If we all don't know it, but at least you should understand and be able to utilize that so that Africa will also go up a bit. Some of them, there are so many platforms you can learn things for not too expensive, Everybody must be ready to spend a little money to get to it. Invariably your money will come back to you.
Okay, thank you very much, ma. I would like to okay, ma, you mentioned someone that could just say one or two
Professor
things.
Ayoni, yes, Professor Ayoni is on board here. There was an NUC organized AI training for people across the country. I know he participated. A few of ophthalmologists across the country, they did. I started at a point, I said, this level is a bit, I passed it sometimes back, so I didn't continue with them. But I know you finish, he'll be able to. So also, I don't know if he has something to say, but since he has joined, he must be interested in what we're saying here. Professor Ayoni. Okay, maybe we should continue to Professor Lawoye then. He doesn't seem to be either hearing me or something.
I'm hearing you, ma.
Okay, thank you very much.
Good evening, everybody. Our teachers and the organizer. It's an honor to have invited Professor Ademola Popola to discuss AI this evening. Like some of us have seen in the advert for the forthcoming scientific conference coming up in Enugu. We are going to have a workshop on AI, and then we would like as many people as possible to participate. I'm preparing for another Zoom meeting. That's why I'm more or less not having much time to say much. But I want to emphasize the fact that Professor Paula have given us the basics, and those things we should pay attention to, because ethics of AI is very, very important. Like we all know all this misconduct in research, misconduct in our practice. If we pay a lot of attention to them, we won't run foul of the law. It's very important in AI, because that is the emphasis that we should not just rely hook, line, and sinker on the information from AI, but we should also make sure that we try as much as possible to scrutinize whatever we are getting from AI. I think we will discuss more on this issue during the conference. And then for the information, there are a lot of information you are able to generate from the survey which we sent around not long ago. I believe we are going to share it during the conference. Thank you so much. I feel it is a good evening for us. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Prof. We are glad to have you on. Thank you so much. We have about 9 more minutes to the end of this session. If we have questions, you can type it. If you want to ask it, you can raise your hand. I would like to invite some of our senior advisors to make 1 or 2 remarks. In no particular order, Professor Adio is on the call. Professor Olushola Olawoye, Professor Abdul Mahdi is on the call. Professor Onochiokoye was on the call at a particular time. So please, we have the floor, our senior advisors. Thank you very much. Okay, while we wait for them to join. Professor Abdul, do you want to say anything, sir? Okay, do we have more questions from the participants on this session? Any more questions? We are going to be discussing this topic in depth during the OSN that will take place in Enugu from September 4th to 6th. But in the break conference is going to happen on September 3rd. So just put that in your calendar. Hopefully it will be physical, and then it also have a virtual component. In the absence of any other questions, I would like to appreciate everyone that had joined this call this evening. We have callers from outside Nigeria. We have one from Liberia. We also had at a particular time one from outside Nigeria. I cannot remember from where. All right, Professor Popola, we are so grateful, ma, that you accepted this topic I was given to you about a month ago, and we are so glad that you were able to introduce us to the concepts of technology and AI in ophthalmic research. We in the NISA network, we decided to pass through some of these training sessions. Last 2 weeks, we had a training on research ethics, and we are just trying to build the foundations for the network to be able to carry out quality data that will be representative of Nigeria as far as ophthalmology is concerned. So I would like to appreciate each and every one of us. More about us, you can go to our website at www.nisanetwork.org. We have trainings, so you can also go through the past trainings. This lecture was also streamed live on YouTube, so we also have the lectures recorded and it will be on YouTube. So some minutes or maybe an hour after this lecture, the YouTube link is going to be made available. So on that note, I would like to appreciate everyone and wish us a very wonderful night. Bye-bye, everyone, and have a wonderful day. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you very much,
Bye, everybody. Well done. Thank you.